Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the April 7th, 2020 Supermoon in Libra, part 3 of 3. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the transit's possible impact on the zodiac signs Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first off, as far as Libra goes, the first house is what's going to be emphasized and highlighted. So Libra at this timing, so we're talking about supermoon, and in contrast to a regular full moon, it could be something a little more serious than the regular full moon in terms of perhaps the physical body. It could be something connected with the kidneys, might be a kidney stone in some cases, or it might just simply be a doctor telling you need to drink a little bit more water. You might have some issues with a kidney stone, but it's not as impactful, lack of a better word. It's generally supermoon. I don't see it as serious as like a regular, like a lunar eclipse, but it could be a little more serious than in contrast to regular full moon. So it could be some of the physical body connected with the kidneys or the buttocks, or something with the lower back. This could be the end. In some cases, you may be terminating a early childhood connection. It could be with a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra characteristics. First house can also be about first impressions in astrology. This could be a time where you might become really tired, full, exasperated, and perhaps being overly ambivalent or indecisive on a first impression, or somebody that comes across as overly like non-combative or non-quarrelsome, or a person that doesn't want to make waves. So those are some ways this could manifest and pan out. So anyway, and also the next thing up. As far as Scorpio goes, the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time for Scorpio. Well, in some cases, this could be about the unveiling or revelation of a Libra hidden adversary. It could be somebody that could be a Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra traits. It could be somebody that was posing as a friend for some time and was showing you all this Libra-like charm and diplomacy and being very appeasing, but you might be finding out they might be going behind your back and saying negative things, derogatory things. This could also be some cases, if you are involved in a clandestine affair, Scorpio, in isolated cases, this could be a time where it might be unveiled and disclosed, because full supermoons in astrologies can be about disclosures and revelations. Now, it could also be the ending of a connection in some cases with a Libra aunt or uncle. It could be a Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or just simply one that embodies Libra characteristics. Remember, the 12th house is also the house of imprisonment. So if there's something that there's a chance, if you've had a criminal record, Scorpio, it might be unveiled, unleashed at this point in time. Remember, Libra is the sign of the law, and if there was something that you try to conceal or kept hidden, it may be a time where it may have a greater propensity to come out. So, and it might be, and remember, 12th house is the house of chaos as well. Libra energy negatively manifested could be about relationship disruption, and it could be that something might come out at this time about somebody that's causing some kind of dissension with your connections, or maybe some relationship disruption, basically, that might turn out to be a hidden enemy. It might be causing chaos, some kind of chaos in your life. The 12th house is the house of chaos. So anyway, well, next thing up, as far as Sagittarius goes, the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Sagittarius, well, you may be become tired, full, downright exasperated, perhaps somebody that might be a friend or an acquaintance that's showing you what you believe is a superficial charm, being overly officious or obsequious, trying to appease you, maybe too much, maybe because they just want something. It might be in a very unwanted manner. Remember, the 11th house is also connected with stepchildren, so if you do have any stepchildren, it may apply to them as well. Now, a lot of cases, though, on a positive end, this could be the completion or culmination of some goal or aspiration you were trying to attain that was perhaps Libra related. It could be something working as far as aspiring to be a lawyer or attorney or bailiff or paralegal, judge, anything connected with the law, doing something with human resources, with art, arbitration, negotiation, aspiring to be a diplomat, maybe even scale design. Well, I'm being flippant somewhat with that. Libra can be connected with scales. So anyway, and the thing about this too is it's also, when you're talking about full supermoons in astrology, they could also be about revelations and unveilings. This could be the revelation of, in some cases, of somebody that you saw as a friend but was basically maybe unveiled as a relationship disruptor. And since we're talking about the supermoon in contrast to a full moon, it can have a little bit more serious repercussions, more so than the typical full moon. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, as far as Capricorn goes, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Now, in some cases, this might be a time where you might, you're talking about full supermoons can be about more public energy in contrast to a new moon. This could be a time where you may come out with something Libra related that might give you notoriety, exposure, and recognition, and the impact might be a little bit stronger in terms of the acclaim, perhaps in contrast to a regular full moon. This could be something like Libra related. It could be something connected with art, such as sculpting or drawing or a painting, or something with graphic art design or fashion design, interior decoration. It could also be a time too where, again, the full supermoons in astrology can be about a time when one becomes very tired, exasperated, simply full of something. And it could be about maybe a reputation that might be somewhat overly non-combative or wanting to be politically correct. Of course, no pun intended, since we're talking about Capricorn. And Capricorn, of course, could be associated with politics. But it could also be a time too where this could be the ending in some cases for many with connected with a Libra-like career, such as something with art or working as a judge, an attorney, a bailiff, a paralegal, even a court reporter, a beautician, somebody that works in cosmetology, or some kind of or working as a beautician or in fashion design. Those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out. And maybe you're at a point too. Remember that the 10th house also is connected with supervisors, superiors, authority figures, and the dominant parent, which is often the father. So this could be a time too where this could be a time where you just become tired and exasperated, overly full, so to speak, of maybe trying to be overly appeasing and trying toward an authority figure, toward the dominant parent, which is often the father, trying to always be the one to compromise and to be diplomatic and tactful with those people, trying to avoid confrontation. This could be a time where maybe you just had enough as far as that goes. And given that it's a supermoon in contrast to a regular full moon, the consequences might be a little bit stronger as opposed to a regular full moon. Anyway, well, as far as Aquarius goes, the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So this could be a point in time. You're talking about full supermoons in astrology. It could be about revelations and unveilings. It could also be about self-revelations. It could be about where one becomes cognizant of things connected with themselves. It could be a time where, Aquarius, you might be at a point where you're becoming more cognizant of maybe having to ingratiate yourself more as far as in-laws, grandchildren go, maybe in a religious congregation. Aquarius could be somewhat aloof and detached, and They and don't get me wrong, Aquarius could be very humanitarian, very selfless, but they often have their emotional detachment. So this could be a time where Aquarius might realize they may need to be a little bit more connected in terms of the relationship with ninth house people at this time. And also at this time too, Aquarius, it might be a time if you're somebody that's a writer and that you publish things regularly. It might be a time where a Libra-like publishing venture might come to a completion or ending. It could be something connected with art, or it could be something associated with the law. Even a Libra-like sport like tennis or badminton, something that involves balance. It could be something associated with relationships, with justice. Again, something connected with the law, about things, something about fairness, about romance, about love. It could also be a time too where you're looking at yourself, and it might be a time where you might make a self-discovery in terms of perhaps having a more balanced philosophical outlook, more balanced philosophy in viewpoint. Now, Aquarius, despite being an air sign, I mean, I know they could be very affable, very amenable, and friendly and amicable, but they could be very rigid and intransigent in their viewpoints, and it can be a time where maybe Aquarius, it might be time to you're pondering, maybe listening to some other ideas, to be a little bit more open-minded to things. Aquarius can be very open-minded at times anyway, but it might be a time where you're even listening even more to things that are viewpoints that might deviate from your own at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Well, anyway, sorry about that. But and it could be a time too, since we're talking about, I mean, full supermoons, it could be a time where one becomes tired, exasperated, full of something. It could be a time too, or maybe you've had enough in some cases of somebody being overly officious or obsequious, or somebody that's just trying to appease you, maybe because they want something, or they're giving you help, they're trying to service you or be helpful, but really in a way that's not really wanted, or it might be incessant. It could be an in-law, a grandchild, maybe a foreigner, someone you may know at a college, university, or at a religious congregation. Excuse me. Last but not least, as far as Pisces goes, the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Pisces, this could be a time too, in some cases it can be something surgical that could be revealed that may be Libra related, such as something with the kidneys or the buttocks, or something with the lower back. It could also be a time too, when we're looking at this could be a period too where you might become tired, exasperated, had enough of something that might be very unbalanced as far as a shared resources scenario goes, or something in terms of moral, emotional, and monetary support, where it's all basically you're giving and basically nobody's giving back. It's all take from you and no giving to you, as an example. It could also be in some isolated cases. It could be a wrongful death lawsuit in some isolated cases that maybe you finally have finalized and filed officially. Maybe it was something, being Pisces can be very ambivalent and decisive. So it might have been something that you might have pondered for a while, and it might be a time where if you are involved in something where you were going to have some kind of lawsuit that would be connected with a wrongful death lawsuit, it might be the time you may do it. Remember, the 8th house is associated with death, but it could also be a lawsuit that might be connected with somebody you were in a business partnership with, or a shared resources situation, or some kind of tax or insurance matter at this time as well. It could also be a time too where you're talking about Libra energy. Can be about reconciliation. It could be about agreements. If there was an insurance or tax matter that needed to be resolved, it might be reconciled. There might be an agreement over a tax-related matter or an insurance-related matter at this time as well. And in some cases, again, since we're talking about full supermoons in astrology, they can be about endings, completions, and culminations. It could be about the ending in some cases of maybe a business connection that might have been something 8th house related, such as something with astrology, the occult, taxes, insurance, working in some kind of death profession. I mean, if you're like, funeral company or something, like working as a coroner or mortician, if there's more than one person perhaps connected with this might be something where you're disbanded, or it might come to an ending at this point in time. Some 8th house related business connection may end at this point in time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.